Good afternoon and welcome to your weekly FX Options Report. Today is Wednesday, September 29, 2010. In midweek trade, the broader U.S. markets are trading on a flat note. It is quiet on the economic calendar here in the U.S., but following weaker than expected growth prospects, there are some expectations that the Federal Reserve could move on more quantitative easing measures. And taking a look at overseas economic data releases, Eurozone consumer confidence did grow with economic sentiment rising to 103.2 in August from the upwardly revised July reading of 102.3. But at the same time, there were protesters that rallied in the European cities of Brussels as well as the countries of Ireland and Spain against austerity measures. Now, taking a look at the spot FX market, the U.S. dollar is trading lower against most of the major currencies. Euro-dollar hit fresh 5-month highs, trading above the 1.3640 level. Now, gains in the euro were limited after S&P downgraded the nationalized Anglo-Irish Bank lower by 2 tiers. The dollar also weakened to 2-year lows against the Australian dollar and a 2.5-year low against the Swiss franc. Meanwhile, the yen did advance against the major currencies with dollar-yen hitting the 83.50 level. Now, one way to trade your views on U.S. dollar strength or weakness is to take a look at IC's FX options. One advantage is that they are U.S. dollar denominated. For more information, you can go to www.fxoptions.com. And in our next segment, which is our daily trend opinion, let's take a look at the AUX, which is the U.S. currency against the Australian dollar. Now, that pair is under pressure and it is pushing below a strong support area. And the preference of trading central analysts is short positions below 110.50 with targets at 102 and 100 in extension. For the BPX, which is the U.S. currency against the British pound, that pair is also under pressure. Now, the pair does remain on the downside and is currently approaching its support. The preference of trading central analysts is short positions below 65.50 with targets at 62.50 and 61 in extension. And looking at the CDD, which is the U.S. dollar against the Canadian currency, that pair is under pressure. Now, the RSI for that pair is challenging a rising trend line, and the preference of trading central analysts for the CDD is short positions below 105 with targets at 99.50 and 98 in extension. Next up, looking at the EUI, which is the U.S. dollar against the euro, it is under pressure. Now, it has broken below its previous low and should reach its next support. The preference of trading central analysts for the EUI is short positions below 76 with targets at 72.50 and 70 in extension. Now, moving on to the SFC, which is the U.S. dollar against the Swiss franc, that pair is under pressure. Now, it has broken below its previous low, and the preference of trading central analysts is short positions below 103 with targets at 96 and 94.25 in extension. And taking a look at the YUK, the U.S. dollar against the Japanese yen, the last pair we'll be looking at in this segment, the downside does prevail. Now, it has struck against its declining trend line and remains under pressure. The preference of trading central analysts for the YUK is short positions below the pivot of 87.50 with targets at 82.40 and 79.30 in extension. And moving on to your next segment, which is the weekly trend opinion, the dollar has continued to lose ground against the majors last week, and this trend is expected to continue for the next few weeks. In terms of portfolio performance since its inception, which was in August of 2007, it is up by 1,879.63%. And since the beginning of this year, January of 2010, it is higher by 599.54%. Now, we do have one trade alert for you here, which is to consider puts on the CDD. Now, trading central analysts are recommending this pair because it is currently challenging its support. Also, it is expected to face further weakness while the daily RSI is breaking below its rising trend line. Now, other pairs that trading central analysts will take a look at is the AUX, NZD, and PZO. Now, taking a look at what is expected in terms of the major ICFX option pairs next week, trading central analysts will be keeping an eye on any dollar pullbacks and or new short dollar positions. Therefore, they will be looking at the EUI, BPX, and YUK. Now, in terms of the EUI, has broken below its previous low at 75. And it should face further down move towards the 72.50 level as the RSI is badly directed. In terms of the BPX, it is shaping a rounding top and approaching its support at 62.50. Last but not least, the YUK has struck against its declining trend line and does remain under pressure. And that does wrap it up for this week's FX Options Report. Make sure to tune in next Wednesday for your latest update. Thanks for watching and have a great day.